The next definition is door opening, the area in a frame product into which a door or doors are installed. And the door opening is pretty important to understand. It's the datum point, it's the point of origin, it's the center of gravity that around everything else rotates or revolves. Door opening is important to understand in the sense that, for me, at least early in my career, I didn't understand how important it was, meaning whatever the door opening is, everything falls like dominoes after defining that. So the door opening is like the order size. The door opening. The door opening is the area, if you measure between the rabbets in the width, and then from the rabbet down to the bottom of the jam is what it would be. And that's expressed in what we would call a nominal size, or the order size, or just the opening size. The term nominal size refers to when you bring the door into the conversation, you're going to have a door opening size, and then you're going to have a size of the door, and those are never the same. And that is a good way to start to explain that everything revolves around the door opening size. As a result of the door opening size being 3080, 3 foot 0 inch, 8 foot 0 inch, and door opening sizes are usually termed in that sort of structure, feet/inches. So 7/2 is 7 feet plus 2 inches /2, which means 86. 7 times 12 is 84, plus 2 is 86. So you have an 86-inch frame opening height. We would call it 7'2" or 7'2". 7'0", 8'0", 6'8", whatever you want it to be. But the door isn't going to measure 86 or 7'2" or 7'2" height. Everything else is undersized accordingly. Two things can't exist at the same time at the same place. If you've got 10 pounds of sausage, it'll rip a 10-pound bag. You need a little bigger bag than that. And understanding door opening is important because that's just what you always call the door. And I don't mean the door, the rectangular thing you can put your hands around and kind of tip over and pick up. I mean the door opening. So an example of that would be, what does happen to the net door size when you add hardware based on the door opening? So I just 2 days ago sent an order over to Seco for repair doors. And the guy it's an unequal pair for this engineering office / boiler room in a condo building on the lakeshore in Chicago. It's a nominal 6'0". Well, it was 30, 40, 50 years ago. Now it's a bit undersized like this, so we're going to make it a little bit smaller. He had 72 at the top, but then 71 3/4 in the middle, 71 3/4 at the bottom. Okay, so we have an opening size. You have to work from the smallest dimension, obviously. So that 71 3/4 is now 5'11", 5'5/11-3/4. That's what you call it. That's the opening size. Don't get concerned about things after that, meaning this opening has full concealed, it's an unequal pair, a 3/4 active, a 3'4" active, 40-inch active, nominal 40-inch, and then a 2'7" 3/4" inch inactive panel. We have full concealed aluminum continuous geared hinges, and we have an astragal. So we have a lot of things that are going in the opening, between the doors and the jamb, or between the doors, and then we have an unusual size that it's really difficult to get easily confused in the sense of, oh boy, what am I making the door with? Well, in this scenario, as long as you express to the factory what your door opening size is, and then you tell them what the hardware is, the onus is on them to figure out what's the actual tape measure size for that door. So in this instance, we've got 5'9" 3/4" or 71 3/4 width. They're 7'0" height, just typical 7'0". And we know that we're going to need 5/16 for the hinge on this side. We know that we'll need 5/16 for the hinge on this side. I know that I'm going to need 3/16 for the astragal. At least I know that that's what the factory will have to do. So they'll have to take 71 3/4, and they'll have to deduct 5/16 minus 5/16 minus 3/16. And then they're going to get a value that's left over. We know that the active needs to be 3'4". That's a nominal size. They'll make it 39 3/4 or 39 13/16. And then what they'll end up doing is making the inactive panel the remainder. Okay, so my point is, when you call out door opening, you're kind of doing all the work right there. Now, if you want to get down into the weeds and express to the factory the net size of what you want everything, which I've done, I used to do all the time because I just want it right. Okay, I've got a 3070 and I'm using a half surface hinge. So I would give them the net door width as well. But a lot of the time that did lead to, hey, is that the net door width you want? Yep. I got a nominal and then I've got an actual. This is the size that I want it. And I'm getting that information from the template from the manufacturer for whatever the hardware is. In this case, the half surface continuous geared aluminum hinge. But it's really not necessary in the sense that the chance of it causing additional questions is just there, and the industry standard would be, give me your door opening size, give me your hardware set, I'll figure out, as the manufacturer, I'll figure out what it needs to be. So door opening can easily get confusing, but at the end of the day, it's really, if you measure with your tape measure the inside of the frame in width first, width is the first dimension, unlike hinges where the first dimension on a hinge is the height. And then the height, everything else should fall into place. Everything needs to be undersized and pre-fit for that. There probably are some special circumstances where, what is the double egress? You've got to be careful when you're measuring those, if you're measuring one in the field, because they will very likely have multiple steps. You've got to really study what you're measuring on those if you're field measuring them. Look for the hinge pocket. That's the rabbit. Go to the other hinge pocket. That's the rabbit. That would be your height. And then the header's a little bit easier because you can really see where the door comes into play there. So that will give you the height on those. But in terms of door opening sizes, anything is possible, obviously, within manufacturing limitations or fire rating limitations. But a door opening is going to be width and then height. 3070, 6080, 8080, 2068, or something unusual. Door opening is also important to know when you are talking about unusual shaped material, radiused top doors. Just understanding that what the origination point is what's our basic definition of where do we start when we detail an opening, and it's the door opening size. Again, that's order size, and you can actually measure what the door opening size is, but you're measuring the frame. You're not measuring the door at all. Net door widths, net door sizes, vis-a-vis the door opening, is dependent on the manufacturer's door type and what they're doing as a result. Some doors are square edge, some doors are beveled edge. Those can will very likely have a different net door width. Door heights, based on a door opening, there isn't a uniformity as just like I explained on door widths. What you're looking for in a net door height compared to the door opening is 7/0, and then they might say 5/8 undercut. Okay, so you got to be mindful of what that is, or half-inch undercut. Half-inch undercut would be more common because that will change the net door height. But again, 7/0 doesn't change. It's door opening height, and then what's the hardware that I'm doing, and that will give me a net door size. So leave the net door size alone, leave that for the factory to figure out, unless you're the person who has to figure it out. Then get your templates. When it comes to that half-inch undercut, what they're doing there is they want to draw that door down closer to the floor. So a half-inch undercut is still going to give you a door it's going to give you an 83 3/8 tall door. Half-inch plus the so 84-inch for 7/0 minus the half-inch undercut minus an eighth at the top would be 83 3/8. And in that case, that you're doing that because someone might specify a latch track, bump up, panic style threshold. That's just a 1/4 inch tall where the door will sit on top of. So you've got to be wise enough to say, oh, I got 3070, but my door now's changed because of what my hardware's done. Let's switch to the screen view and take a closer look at the definition. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Okay, door opening, the area in a frame product into which a door or doors are installed. Yeah, it's just that simple. If we were to dive into a technical manual here, I haven't gone into the Curry's technical manual in a while. Let's take a look at what we have for that. Yeah, you know, there's not much else to say about this that I can actually think of. I did come across the Seco shop manual here that I haven't looked in. If you are a hollow metal shop, you probably want to read this once, because if you run a shop, you probably know most of everything that's in here, but I promise you, you're probably going to find one thing in here that's interesting, that's for sure. Just a perspective on how other people do it. So interesting, a shop manual, what's happening here. Yeah, we've done that quite a bit. Okay, so the next definition, sorry this door opening was a bit dull. Door opening height. Yeah, let's talk about door opening height. Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.